Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of the Scratch the Track podcast presented by the Jude and Grimm Show and co-produced by Mr. IVEFT. I'm the Dude.
E-Money-Sign-T, and I am Grimm. And today, also can't hold it up, but we're going to be talking about... I did buy this CD when it came out, though. But Like Clockwork by Queens of the Stone Age. Ooh, that's nice artwork.
Dude, we'll talk about the artwork a little bit, but it's...
Yeah, and dude, another one that I'm going to purchase as soon as they can go ahead and release that on a single LP, because it's only 45 minutes and 59 seconds, so let's make it 33 and not pretend that 45 needs to be everything, so we got to switch it every 2 songs. Or 2.5 songs. Be divided
2.5 songs. Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny, man. This is, I got this a few years ago, and I'm trying to think what this came out in 2013, and I probably got this, pandemic wearing masks 2020-ish, and I know you had played it for me, I think probably once or twice when we were hanging out, and I had loved Songs for the Deaf. I'd loved Era Vulgaris and everything, but for some reason I just I was like, I like those albums, but it wasn't to the point where I was like, hey, I'm, as soon as a new one comes out, like I'm going to get it.
Check it out. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And then I remember being at the store. I remember being in Denver and texting with IVEST and being like, hey man, like I just wanted, like, oh man, like I went to the store with a list and they like didn't have anything.
Oh, that's
and I was like,
and
man,
you're like, but I got to spend this money somehow or some of it.
Exactly. Like I didn't drive all this way to like not buy something.
Yeah, I'm coming home with a record. It just,
it's
could
gonna
be
happen.
Dean Martin's greatest hits, but it's going to be
Who
something.
knows? Yeah, but it's going to be something. But it wasn't. And it was this, and he was like, I was like, man, maybe I should get like a Queens record. And he was like, dude, my favorite's Like Clockwork. And I was like, all right, so I essentially, like, from my memory, just went and bought it, like, unseen, unheard, whatever. Like I'd probably heard some of the songs from you or whatever, but I
remember
I brought it home
very specifically. This came out like a month before I got married. And I remember being up north, driving around with you, like getting stuff ready for the wedding. And this was just what I had in my car because it was new, and I liked this band, and I already had a couple of their other compact discs and
CDs.
Yep. And so this was what I would have been jamming on.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. So released June 3rd, 2013 in the UK, June 4th in the US. This is their 6th studio album. And certainly a lot of, I don't know if I'd say doubt, not really, but, or not even really controversy, but sort of like there was a seeking out period, a searching period. Like Josh Homme went through a lot of health stuff. And it was kind of like his Queens going forward. He was in a very dark place.
It had been 6 years. I mean, it was 6. So
like it's time for Tim, right?
Dude, and, you do the math. Yeah.
Yeah. But, for people who don't know, I mean, it was 2011 and he was hospitalized for 13 days. Like there was a complication with a knee surgery, and then he was bedridden for 4 months.
Yeah, that's right.
Where there was an infection which his immune system could not fight off due to stress. I think later he said something to the effect of it was brought on by going too deep with drugs.
Yeah.
So that's not good, But even like I guess during the knee surgery, they said like his heart actually stopped because there was something, I don't know, going wrong or going on or whatever.
Yeah.
And they had to revive him. And so he wasn't, he was in a very dark place and just kind of didn't feel like kind of making music. That would be pretty difficult, I imagine.
Well, yeah. And I like the whole bit about, during that period, the sort of comment, I guess, or what I read to the group was basically like, look, I'm kind of in this fog, but if you want to come through the fog with me, like, this is what it's going to be.
That's such an interesting way to kind of approach it. Like typically you would rely on your people and your friends around you to pull you out of the fog. Like, hey, come out of the fog and make music. He was like, no, actually, if we're going to make music, you're going to have to come in here with me. Yeah. Right. Like we're going to have to do that.
Yeah. And think of it as method acting, you know?
Yes, yeah. Exactly. Methadone acting.
Yeah. What do you mean, you people? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, it's interesting because he did say that, you know, it brought them much, much closer as a band. Because he was like, you know, you never really know someone till everything goes wrong.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can have a lot of friends and a lot of close people, but once like kind of some adversity hits, like that's when people show their true colors. Dude. You know,
for real,
who's there for you, who isn't, right?
Yeah, there's a pretty popular meme out there online that says, you think you know somebody until that motherfucker hits you with a wild draw 4 and Uno. Dude, it's saying, you know what I mean? He got hit with his
literally
wild
the
draw.
same thing I just said.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
He got hit with his wild draw 4 and was just like, dude, you got to draw 4 too.
Yep. That's exactly what I was thinking. Yep. You know, I was looking for a great analogy, and I'm glad you're here on the show to, you know, you never laugh at any of the memes that I send you, but apparently
that's why
that
they pay
really
me.
Struck home.
What do you mean? You don't send that many?
I send some. All right. I send some stories and some things, and there's no comments, no responses.
Oh, because if it's Instagram, I can't see it.
Yeah, you can. There's a way. You just click the link. It's fine.
Oh, okay. Well,
see, he doesn't even know.
I don't.
That's why he's not managing our social media page. He's like, "What's his story?"
Yeah. Is that like a golden book?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. Anyways, back to Like Clockwork.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of the title, I thought it was kind of funny how they did come up with it. He was like, you know, Josh was like, you know, yeah, we're in the studio and we're like working on stuff and like, oh, this is great. This is going great. And then Like Clockwork, it just kind of falls apart. Right. I think that, you know, it's a good.
But I also like that interview that you sent me, which I did watch because it was on a little platform called YouTube. And shout out to YouTube. Hey, while you're on YouTube, go ahead and
like, subscribe, and comment below.
Ever heard of it? Or Spotify.
Yeah, or anything really.
Discriminate. Yep.
But I like how there was the video you sent me. They were being interviewed by a very pretty French woman, and she had asked them about the title, and they said that they began to use it in both ways, like if things inevitably failed or if things turned around and got better. They sort of used the Like Clockwork sort of theme.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it's you know, things have a funny way of evening out, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, something that in its own way was sort of like clockwork. A third of the way through recording the album, drummer Joey Castillo left the band, and he would be replaced by Dave Grohl, who did a pretty fantastic job. He did the drumming on Songs for the Deaf, which is pretty sweet, and he even toured with them for a little bit during the initial tour, I think, for Songs for the Deaf as well.
Yeah, true. But then I think they eventually replaced him with
they did.
What was his name from
Mars Volta?
Yeah, John Theodore. Really, dude. Yeah. I mean, if you're the drummer for Mars Volta, you probably
it's not Ted Theodore Logan, but John Theodore is pretty good.
Yeah, you probably have to be one of the best drummers in the world because their music is just like it's like Garth in the store. You know,
it's insane.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
it is.
You're amazing, dude.
It's like a band with Garth and Bill S. Preston Esquire and Ted Theodore Roosevelt or whatever. I'm making it come out of his nose.
Oh man,
dude! Did you see?
That was a real tough one to hold in right there. For some reason,
have you seen the new Bill and Ted?
Yes, I have.
I have not. Does it hold up? Because I got to admit, it's also been probably like 30 years since I've seen the original two. Does the newer one like hold up?
I found it entertaining.
Okay.
Because.
All right.
I found it entertaining. Like, dude, they live in a cul-de-sac, but like they're fucking neighbors and shit. It's just kind of funny.
Dude, if your neighbor's house ever goes up for sale, just like let me know. Okay.
Dude, It's a possibility. It's sized right for you too. They've done a great job on the inside.
All right.
I will let you know.
Cool.
But anyways,
Cool.
yeah. I would probably give it a watch sometime.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, back to Like Clockwork.
Good
Like Clockwork.
420 friendly movie.
Yeah. Oh, very. Dude, this album definitely, has its share of contributors. Right?
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, Milwaukee is definitely its share of visitors.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
But, we have Trent Reznor and Elton John. Now, it was kind of interesting. I think a lot of people have said like, oh, Trent Reznor was supposed to produce this album and everything. But in that interview, Josh Homme was basically like, look, yeah, we had kind of like talked about it and everything, but timing and schedules and things just didn't work out. It's not like he was supposed to produce it and then it just didn't happen.
Backed out, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, dude, they were probably just like hanging out, doing ayahuasca or something. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
and they were like,
actually,
dude,
Trent's sober now. So
what if you produced an album for us?
Yeah. Whoa.
And he's like, I got the soundtrack to fucking Soul with Atticus Ross, man. I can't.
Dude, his soundtracks are legit.
Yeah, they are really good.
But dude, Elton John said like he was like, yeah, Elton called him up and said, yeah, you need an actual queen on this record. Like he said that. That's pretty cool.
Awesome.
And when Elton John calls you, you answer and you just say, yeah, all right, come on over.
Yeah. Now I do want to briefly comment, but in my mind, there's very much a musical nod to Elton John on this album, but it is not on the song in which, got to pronounce that
Elton
H,
John.
he appears.
Which, yes.
And
we'll talk about that a little bit during that song as well.
Yeah.
That he does appear. But but then also Nick Oliveri, who was the bassist early on in Songs for the Deaf and everything, who was fired in 2004. He sings backup on what If I Had a Tail, I believe, and he asked Josh to play on this album because he heard that Dave Grohl was taking over. He's like, dude, if Dave Grohl's taking over, man, gotta let me do it. And Josh ended up choosing Michael Schumann, but he said he was like, look, Nick and I have been friends. We've been friends for a long time.
Yeah, they had a falling out and they resolved it, and
but as far as us being in a band together, it's probably not the best thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And then they talked about also the recording engineer. Did you read that? Mark Rankin?
Yeah.
Anything about that?
I'm actually, yeah. And I think he talked about, because didn't he work with Adele? And because I remember him specifically talking about, like, he heard this song by Adele that his daughter listened to, and she really loved.
He's like, that's great.
But dude, he said like the same things that I will say when I listen to music, where he was like, dude, did you hear how good that kick drum sounded? Like, I get that, because there's songs where I'm just like, my God, how did they get that tone out of the snare? It just doesn't make. Yeah, so I thought that was cool, but I think the unsung engineering hero, man, is definitely Elaine Johannes.
Okay.
Who's worked and played on Queen's albums. He's very much like one of those head figures at Rancho de la Luna Studios. Like he's just part of like that Palm Desert scene, and I think goes back a long ways with Josh Homme. So I think it's cool that if he's not necessarily playing heavily on an album, he still has sort of this input into it and is like there.
Right. Well, I think the thing that they said that they liked about Mark Rankin is that they didn't know him.
Oh,
it was a conscious decision. It was like getting us out of our comfort zone, and someone who doesn't know like our tendencies and what we like and things like that, to kind of like, have a different perspective on things.
Well, and kind of like what the Beatles said when Clapton came in for While My Guitar, like everyone, it plays
changed.
Nicely when someone that they don't know is around.
Cause he's like, George Harrison's like, we don't want him to know that everyone's just so bitchy.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
yeah.
In his British accent. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Now, dude, the kind of cover and everything, and the artwork for this, which is truly exceptional. was created by a Liverpool artist named Boneface. And at least the cover itself here is based off of a publicity still from the 1931 film Dracula.
Oh, cool.
And
I didn't know that.
and so, well, yeah, and in that interview, Josh basically says, he's like, I saw his artwork, and he was like, I know who this guy is. Like it's like he could immediately just like relate, and there was a connection. And they said they had a little bit of a back and forth, because Josh was like, he called him up, and I think the guy didn't believe he was who he said he was, and there was like a little like almost misunderstanding. It took a couple of tries for it to be like, oh, okay, really? I mean, dude, that's the thing. Like Josh Homme calls you up, and you're like, would you believe that?
Yeah.
Like maybe because I've heard him speak enough, but dude, they said they flew him out to the studio for like a week, and he was there, and he was just like hanging out, and he hung out with the band and saw how they worked and listened to him record and everything. And the dude just started drawing.
Now, I think that's really cool.
That's badass, isn't it?
Yeah,
right?
It really is. Now, dude, he also did the cover art for Villains, which totally holds when you look at like the styling, right? And dude, I actually think Villains is a way cooler cover. Dude, it's got the devil double flipping you off, and Josh Homme's eyes are on his hands, like it.
Yeah, I don't know though, man. I like something. There's something dark and mysterious about this one, though.
There is that, yeah. But
we got them. I mean, the masked Dracula with a skull over Dracula's face.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying it isn't cool, but
dude. So speaking of the cover and the vinyl, though. So here's the red one. Now there was a blue edition.
I've seen that. Yeah,
released. I've seen it for independent. But dude, then on Black Friday they released one that was all black. That would be pretty badass to have.
I know, especially if it was on 133.
But it's not.
You like how? Yeah, it will be.
They made it a gatefold. Get over it. Go with somebody else.
Yeah, but they also do. We don't have to argue about this right now. But anyways. I'm sure it sounds so much better on 45. It's like if you get the 33, you might as well just throw it away. Anyways, I did think...
We're going to get in the tracks or what?
We are, but I feel like it's interesting. I will just say quickly, I hope that because there have been sort of rumblings in the distance, and that's not the thunder you may be hearing, but rumblings in the distance that they may be working on something else. Dude, I hope this guy does the art too, because I think his aesthetic like works so well with the band's sound and sort of feel.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think this is a good point to ask people out there, because I know they are starting to play some festivals. They have some tour dates on the books and everything. So they haven't released like a full tour, but they have released some spotty dates here and there. And I imagine if there's a new album coming out, they're going to be playing those songs on this tour. So I'm not sure what the first date of this tour is, or if they've already started that. But if they have, definitely let us know if you guys have heard new material or what we can expect. Because to my knowledge at this point, which is 4/20, April 20th, for all you scoring at home, this episode probably won't come out for another month or so, but let us know if there's an album on the way, because I need to get in line.
And side note, we need to be looking at tickets.
Yes, that too. Detroit.
That is one I have not seen. One of my favorite bands I have not seen yet. Sadly.
Might have seen them.
Sadly.
We'll get them. All right.
Get into the
tracks?
Yeah.
Get into the tracks. All right, y'all. This is the point in the show where we go track by track, and then we pick what track we're going to scratch. So we will start, Krim, with Keep Your Eyes Peeled.
Yeah, don't look, but just keep them peeled.
No touching.
I thought it was interesting. The sort of beginning noises that... Yeah.
Glass? Who gives a shit about glass?
One of the comments that I think was posted on like social media or something when they were recording this album, but like no one had heard anything from it yet, it was just this quote that said the robots are back. And I think it kind of starts out like a real dark robot sort of warming up because you got the beat. And one thing I like about a lot of their beats is, dude, they don't use a lot of cymbals. It's so percussive because it's not a lot of cymbals. There's hi-hat, it's everything's kind of sharp.
With the souped up tempo.
Yeah. It's time to go solo. But like that and the fact that they tune, like he tunes the guitar so low where it's just, everything's...
Dude. I mean, dude, this opening track, dude, it just sounds like, to me, it sounds like somebody just like getting dragged through the mud.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's...
Yeah.
It's dark. It's dirty. I mean, it's dirty. It's thick.
Well, and that has a lot to do with like how they tune the guitars, because a lot of people would before equate metal with drop D, and drop D is just tuning the lowest string of your guitar down one step, so that instead of having to make chords with these like shapes, you can just put your finger on and everything's a power chord. It's like a perfect tuning for metal because it's just all... But dude, they don't even do that. They go down like a whole nother step and tune it to C. So like the string is just like bouncing around.
I was gonna say, right?
Yeah. It's like flicking a rubber band, dude. But an electrified version of it.
Flicking a bean.
Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah.
But dude, this, in a sense, though, to me, I feel like this song is like, what I envision with it is like, someone is being tracked, and then there's like these short kind of sharp attacks where it just like comes in, right? And then it just kind of moves along. It's very sort of like hypnotic and entrancing.
Yeah, and then when they get into the other part that moves a little more, it very much reminds me of spots and songs for the deaf, because you have like this darkness, but it's sang in such a what I mean? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's trippy, man.
It is.
All right, you want to go to the ocean?
Yeah, I want to sit by it.
I sat by the ocean.
Now,
yeah, go for it.
I was just gonna say, when he talks about this, I kind of took this as like, well, it sounds like he's just sitting by the ocean drinking or something, like thinking about everything, because it was like, I drank the potion, baby, to forget
baby
you.
To erase you.
Erase you. Yeah, and I can only assume that this means like a lot of whatever sort of some of the things he was struggling with, like sort of the attempt to just get past these things.
Yeah. Them things.
On the pillow.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually, I think I don't know. It's the line I always think of when I think of this song. I sat by the ocean and drank a potion, baby, to erase you.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite Queen's lines. And I really love this song a lot. It's definitely, for this album, I feel like it's definitely kind of like the
one
poppiest,
of the most straight ahead rock songs. Yeah. This and Smooth Sailing for sure.
Yeah. But I do love this song. I feel like it's very much a stark contrast again from the opening track.
Oh yeah.
You could say it's, of all the songs on the album, it's probably the most formulaic. Like
sure. I dig you. Yeah.
But also, this album like has a lot of songs that are just not formulaic. Like, that are just, dude. But there's some weird songs.
I know, but
that sound
as
awesome.
we're talking through it, I mean, it's one thing to listen to it, which I've done a lot of times, but talking through it makes me think a little more. Because let's just go to the next track, The Vampire of Time and Memory. Now that, again, is a very much a stark contrast from this song and the opening track. Now, this is the song where maybe my favorite song on the album. But this song to me is very much, musically speaking, a nod to Elton John, dude. Like,
okay,
I listen to this and I hear the opening to Funeral for a Friend, Love Lies Bleeding, where they're playing the piano and they got those guitars that are in harmony.
Interesting.
Like, dude,
okay,
listen to Love Lies Bleeding.
Funeral
for a Friend, Love Lies Bleeding, and tell me you don't hear like Dude, it is that sound. It just is.
Wow. Okay. Sweet, man. I
Yeah.
love that. I'll definitely look out.
And
for
that's
that.
what one thing I loved is I'm like, oh, Elton John's on this, and I had heard that before I listened to the album, and then I listened, I'm like, oh, he's got to be on this song, but it is, he isn't.
But it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah, the one you would expect it to be. I mean, the way this song, I mean, I love the fuzzy little synth in the beginning and everything, and it has such a nice piano intro. And
That's a good point, because the synth sort of almost like changes its level of fuzz. I kind of like what they do with it. It's subtle,
Yeah.
but it's because it's the only thing there. You notice this subtlety, right?
Yeah. I mean, the intro that when you sing, it sounds like such a lullaby to me. I mean, it changes, but it's great. And a lot of the things that he sings about, throughout this album are he's kind of harping back to his near death experience.
Yeah,
and. Man, you got four months laying in bed. There's a lot of things to think about.
But I like how he kind of separates, and I would almost argue that this separation is in the whole bit about the title, The Vampire of Time and Memory. This is like the period. This is like the depression. This is like this thing that you can't get out of. And it says, the vampire of time and memory has died. I survived. Like that's an interesting way to phrase that, and I think it's really well done.
Sure, awesome, man. I like that. Well, if I had a tail,
oh, dude, I like.
If I had a tail,
this reminds me a lot of. I think it's the third or fourth song on Villains too. But they sort of have that. It's these very simple riffs. These very simple riffs that kind of repeat.
Domesticated Animals. Or
Yes, that one.
Domesticated Animals.
Because it's these very simple riffs that like. I don't know. They make them sound so thick with the way they play and the choices that they make for instrumentation, and they're just dirty. They're just nasty little fucking riffs.
It is. Well, I love that little breakdown. Is that an organ? Oh
yeah.
It's just such like a fun little thing, and sort of a fun sound, which is interesting. Because man, I feel like this album. And their sound, everything, it's so intense.
Yeah, but
it's
they
so
do
heavy.
these
but they have
things.
these little light, funny things.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool that they do that and just take sort of like I don't know, to sort of mix it up. It's like, we're dealing with some serious shit here, but let's have a little fun with it too, right?
But
let's do some cool shit.
I do like how there are some lyrics that are said in this song that, like, they're almost like blush worthy. Like when he says, "I want to suck, I want to lick." Like it's just a line that I cannot imagine writing, but it really captures a sort of something, whatever that something is.
Well, it's you get done writing a song like that and you bring it home. Hey, mom, listen to this one, right?
Yeah.
It's.
But then he follows it up with, I think it's, "I want to cry, I want to spit." Like, tears of pleasure, tears of pain trickle down your face the same. Now that's a good line.
Pain. Yeah. The do run.
Yeah. That's pretty funny too, right? How you reference these old rock songs. Like, I like that. That is, it's like a throwback, and it's interesting because without playing music that necessarily sounds like that, it goes back to it yet the same way. Yeah.
You certainly don't. It's again. It takes
do
like
run, you won't get far. Like that's a great way to put that in like with sort of this ominous ending to the lyrics.
Right? Yeah, like it fits.
Yeah,
right. Like it fits to what he's saying for sure. Then we go, my God is the sun.
I think this is the first single, wasn't it?
I think it might have been.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, cool. I don't know.
Not my favorite single, but the first one.
Yeah. This is definitely, I think, to me, other than, I feel like it's the most straightforward rock song for me on the album. I Sat by the Ocean, I has a little more of a poppy feel to it, but this, the drumming is phenomenal. Like as soon as like I was like, oh, Dave Grohl's on this album, like, and I had to look it up because it was like, oh, like he only did some of the tracks or whatever, but he definitely did drumming on this one. And then I really like focused on the drums, and I was like, wow, that's that, there's no question.
Yeah,
it's him.
It's amazing, dude.
You're amazing. Yeah.
I got to be honest, with this being the lead-off single, this was like the one I heard before the album came out. Let me look here. Mm-hmm. Because was the other one after? Oh, yeah. Way after. But, yeah. It was kind of... I guess... I agree with your assessment of a straight ahead rock song, but what was interesting to me is with that comment that he had released, said the robots are back. This did not sound like the Robots. This sounded like a really well-tuned rock band playing, and it wasn't sort of that. So it was just interesting to me because with this being the first single, the lead-off single, I was kind of like, but where's the robots?
Where more robot learns to be.
Yeah.
Something more than a machine.
Yeah, for sure. How's that special edition treating you?
I haven't unboxed it yet because dude, I'm going to do a video which is going to benefit this channel. So turn that frown upside down.
Okay.
See?
Speaking of unboxings, dude, I called my local record store today to get the rundown for Record Store Day. I got the whole rundown.
Yeah, they're gonna have your shit.
Yes, they are. He said he thinks he's only getting like 15 copies of the Nuggets one.
He's getting 15.
Yeah, but it's interesting because one thing the dude said was he was like, yeah, we don't just put them at a table so that like everybody crowds up this table or something, and then like there's traffic to the rest of the store. He was
it's like an Easter egg hunt, and
dude,
we just like hide them all.
He puts them in their respective sections, and I'm like, oh snap, man! Like I got to figure out strategically.
So what section is Nuggets in?
Well, Nuggets is going to be real close to Miles Davis because it's going to be in the comps. So I'm going to hit that, get Miles Davis, and then go back to reggae to get those Studio One comps, and then just be like. Piece out
Suck
of
it on the way out.
Yeah.
Just going to give them the villain's cover on the way out, huh? All right.
Yeah. So, I am. I'll actually put eyes on my hands, I think.
Yeah. There we go.
Anyways.
All right. Moving on. Yeah. Record Store Day is coming up. Let us know.
We can't
what
wait.
You guys
We're going to do an episode on it.
Yes, we are. All right, Grim. Track number 6. Collapsia.
Collapsia. Now, dude, the biggest piece of contrast on the album, though, the way it starts, at least. Now it gets a little heavy, which I love it because you almost don't expect that it's going to, because the lead up is not like if it were a graph, it wouldn't go like this for the lead up. It would go like this, when it gets heavy.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, dude, collapsia. In ancient Greek, maybe you didn't know, what it means is, and this is very fitting after you to listen to the song, the delusion of things being more beautiful than they are. And that makes a lot of sense because one of the lines in the song is, I never lie to myself tonight, rose tinted eyes, color my sorrow a shade of wine. And part of me is just like, he's got his rose colored glasses, his rose colored eyes on, right? Like, and I think a lot of times, especially when you're trying to dig yourself out of like a depression or something like that, like, what do you do to like spark, like, gosh, I want to get out of this bed. I got to do, like, man, you got to really start looking at things, try to look at things in a positive way. And he's got to try to look on the bright side just to get out of bed, just to like, start recording and feel like he wants to be creative and everything. So that's how I kind of read sort of what this song is and sort of about.
Wow.
Yeah.
promised myself
You
I
have no
wouldn't
words.
cry.
Yeah, no words.
No, but that's right on.
Right on with raisins.
And that would have been
Yeah.
it'd be a great song to start side 2 when they put it on the 33. I can't wait.
It does start side 2 or disc 2. At least.
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah. So you're like, oh, it's been 3 minutes. I got to flip this record now.
Dude. All right. Sorry, man. Fairweather Friends. Like,
Oh.
dude, this song is just badass, right? Like, I mean, I imagine neither of us are scratching this shit. I don't even know if I have a scratch. Do I have a scratch?
I do. It was, again, quite difficult. But yeah, dude, it is definitely not going to be this one. This is one that I just, yeah.
The ups and downs, the transitions, it rocks, man.
Dude, the lyrical content is great.
Yeah.
Like just that. And I think for somebody in his position, you know, going through the shit that he was going, like, you would really see who your friends are. Like, if you're in a really dark place, like, who's going to keep calling? Who's going to keep coming around? Or who's going to be like, yeah, I'll see him again at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, dude, this song is very poignant for pretty much everybody in the world and in life.
Man, yeah.
But I can imagine when you're like a rock star, a celebrity and stuff like that.
Oh,
and it's
a lot of Fairweather Friends.
Maybe you get some bad press and people don't want to touch you, right? They don't want anything to do with you. And then, you know, that passes and now all of a sudden, you know, you see who your friends are. But
treat you like a flat earther.
Exactly. Kyrie Irving, baby. Yeah,
now, dude, my favorite part,
good
though,
luck in free agency, Kyrie.
At the end of when he's just like, I don't need this for fuck him anyways, or something like
Yeah,
that.
right.
I like.
Well,
that.
dude, there's a line before, like earlier in the song, where he's like, "Drink wine and screw is all we'll do every day. So what's it gonna take to get you back in bed?" Like that's
really funny. He says that because there's a song, or there's a line in the song Mexicola on the Queens of the Stone Age first album where he says like that they would it's basically him talking to, I think, this woman. He just says like, we can go and be in Mexico and drink wine and screw. Like that's the so I like how that's kind of like recycled.
Sounds like a good time, man.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? Like it really does. I mean, obviously you want to be with the right person, but sign
otherwise
me
you'd
up.
be living it. Yeah, very different lifestyle.
You just tell me where to sign, pal.
Right on my ass after you kiss it.
Yeah, kiss it.
Now, I love the transition from Smooth Sailing because as he says that line, you get that beep and then it kind of gets that weird sort of scratchy thing that starts the rhythm.
Well, and we haven't really talked about this at all to this point, but there are some transitions in this album. Now, they're not songs that necessarily go right from one into the other.
No, but they work really well.
There's sort of some elements that are around the songs that kind of play into it.
Yeah,
right?
like I Sat by the Ocean into the Vampire Time and Memory is a good example, I think. But yeah, but this one's really good. And dude, Smooth Sailing, like I remember when I heard this song and I was just like, dude, the robots are fucking back with this one. Like it is.
It's like they never left.
And my favorite part of the whole song, I know it probably sounds childish, but my favorite part is after he's basically done all his lyrics and they're kind of going and he goes, shut up.
Yeah.
Like that is because it's like you get it. Like sometimes it's just like as they would say in Britain, like fuck off.
Fuck off.
You know?
It's bollocks, man.
Yeah.
It's bollocks. You know, this, I will say that the feel and the tone of this song, it almost sounds like a funky kind of riff to it. I don't know. There's, you know, like, but again, it has like this kind of like this dirtiness. And this
absolutely, dude.
Like, dude, after I listened to this album, I'm like, okay, I might need to take a shower.
Do you think the dirtiness is perhaps could be attributed to the line where he says, I blow my load over the status quo? Here we go. Like that's a great line.
That's probably the best line in the album, maybe ever. You know, it's debatable, but is it? I mean,
pretty good.
It's pretty solid. He's onto something there.
Yeah.
He's definitely Like, dude, freaking what's his name? QAnon. Like dude, that's his line. But one thing that's interesting, dude, he talks about God a few times in this album.
Yeah,
you know, and even in this song, well, God only knows, so mind your behavior. It's kind of like it's kind of like, what's that line where it's like, hey everybody, like
Jesus
whatever,
is coming.
Jesus,
everybody look busy.
yeah. But it kind of is. But it's interesting because I'm curious what his sort of thought and perspective is on God.
I probably think
especially after you have a near-death experience like that.
That's true, but like, at the same point,
that can change some perspective. It's like doing acid and
in space,
hanging out with Spider.
I've always
spider
thought
monkeys.
about, and it sounds amazing. You just got to keep your shit together. Anyways, I think
you should go up there with Elon Musk and just talk about some stuff.
I don't think so. I'd probably
he might give you a blue check mark. Wait, you don't know what Twitter is?
Yeah, I'd rather go up there with Zava and talk about some stuff. Meditate.
Zava from Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Zava.
I am ready now.
Dude.
I know.
Dude, fuck Zava.
I know, but he'd be better to talk to than Elon Musk, I think. But anyways, I have, although my God is the sun is pretty obvious reference to God. I kind of like that because it has this idea of, right, like there's God, right? And people think that pagans were sort of crazy and unholy because it was like they you know, sort of in a way kind of did worship the sun and some of these astrological events that would happen. But the thing is, if the sun goes in a certain way, like we're all fucked. And I mean like right now.
Like a couple of inches like the wrong way.
Yeah, like right now it's done. Everything is over. I mean, it's don't change the temperature too much. It makes like Terminator 2 look like fucking Disney World. So it's like funny that he says that because it is an interesting thing, like how yet that stuff gets
come
related
with me if you want to live
to completely the absence of God, like paganism, but at the same time, it's a pretty dominating force, probably the most dominating force that we know of.
It's pretty dominating, man. I kind of want to talk about like Terminator 2 now, but
dude,
let's finish this.
Miles Dyson,
dude, the sound, man. I need that soundtrack, dude.
You Could Be Mine. Is it You Could Be Mine on that one?
No, it's just. I imagine the soundtrack is just gonna have like the music that's been composed. If you want You Could Be Mine, you got to get it from your best friends for Christmas.
Yeah. I had to look all over for those.
Dude, 1 and 2.
Yeah, real hard for IVST. No. I'll get them and worrying about wrapping them and sending them. I'll just put your name on them.
Yeah. Don't worry, he ain't watching.
Yeah, just Venmo me, dude. It's all good. I'll do all the legwork. You just
keep directing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave this elf shit to us.
Hey man,
we love
he's got to work.
We love you.
He's got to work. You got to be available.
Yeah, dude. That's got it. That's good. Now the fucking green check mark is something I know about very well. The blue one,
Jerry's still on that one.
Yeah, but the green one, very aware of the green check mark.
Oh man! All right. I appear missing. I
really like the contrast in this one. Alternate title: How Am I Not Myself?
How am I not myself? How am I not? Like really? No. Think about that, and then watch IR Huckabees, and then think about it some more. Well, it has a dark shocker, a dark feel as you would expect. But dude, shock me awake, tear me up, shock me awake. Tear me apart. Oh,
it's just
man,
it's just
it's
interesting,
literal, but
interesting textures, man. Yeah, that
Yep.
sounds like that thing where he talked about being woken from the dead.
Yeah. Excuse me. But I think, there's some things that he sings about and talks about that I think, you can take some time and do some deep dives, but it seems like, he talks about like if he died, like sort of like, would he be remembered? Almost like, he has a choice to kind of like come or go. And towards the end, he sings about, with my toes on the edge, it's such a lovely view. And it's kind of like, oh man, like I could stay here, but man, it looks pretty good down there. Right.
I know, but the view's only going to be good for,
it's gonna be a quick fall.
Yeah, It's what is
yeah.
the rate of acceleration? I can't remember, but it's fast.
They're very fast
until you get to terminal velocity, starring Charlie Sheen.
Dude. I don't know if you've seen that movie recently, but it's pretty realistic.
I actually don't know if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, I watched it. And there was a really hot blonde chick in it too.
That
I forget her
sounds right.
name. Yeah, makes sense. All right, I know what I'm going to watch after we're done recording. Cool. As long as it's free. Well, nothing's free, but as long as I pay for it,
It's
on a
like
streaming service.
currently, I currently pay for it. Yeah.
Exactly. So, all right, moving on. Track number.
Oh wait, I pronounced it wrong. It's ... Well, no, you just go like this. Like Clockwork. It's like you act like you're saying it, but those are the dots.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like Clockwork.
Is that how it is with more? It's not ...
Yeah, it's just more.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just a slight hesitation to build up the anticipation by the listener.
It's all making sense now.
Yeah.
Or it's an awkward silence. Who's to say? All right. So yeah, dude, I mean, this is a great way to end the album. If this song, if you're going to put a song like this on the album, I think this is where it goes.
Absolutely.
I think it's
absolutely.
It's I mean, it does, it's not just a piano ballad. I mean, it does change and everything, but man, it starts off and it's
in my imagination, it's just him sitting at the piano playing and singing, but somebody else played it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if they play it live. I wonder who plays it. Does he play it?
That is a really good question, dude.
And maybe we can answer that.
Charlie May played it. Now, I don't know who Charlie May is, but he played it.
Dude, fucking from It's Always Sunny.
It's Charlie Day.
Second cousin,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, dude, Like Clockwork, dude, it's a beautiful song, man.
What song?
It Like Clockwork.
Like
fucking asshole. All right. Can we get through this episode?
Yes,
all right.
We can. This is what it's all about here. This is
you have the floor.
Yeah, no, I don't need the floor.
No, okay.
You scratch it or am I?
I don't know. Shit. Wait, I think you go first. No, you go first because I just did title.
Oh yeah, last week. Yes, that's correct. You did.
Yeah. If these episodes come out in order, who knows?
Yeah, that is the mystery of the show, and it's gonna take hiring a private eye to figure this one out.
Dude, this one's fucking tough.
Oh,
man.
Of course it is, but it's not as tough for me because My God Is the Sun just never really rubbed me the right way musically. I love sort of the lyrics because, like I said, the sun makes a different decision, and we're all toast, man.
Reft.
Actually, not even toast, just straight vaporized, cousin. Going back to particles. Fucking quarks.
God, man. Dude. I don't want to overtime us. I don't.
Oh, was that your scratch?
No, it's not.
So I was gonna say overtime, but dude, roll those dice.
Like, dude. So What's your favorite song? While I think about what my scratch is.
Vampire Time of Memory. Second is Smooth Sailing.
Okay.
And I just like the Vampire Time of Memory the best because I think it's more personal. It just
dude, it's beautiful, man. Ugh,
but I still, dude, I love Smooth Sailing. Every time I just want to hear him say shut up. That was one of those words when you were little and they were like, you shouldn't say shut up. It's a mean word.
Or they say, or you're like, I hate you. Hate is a very strong word. Like, yeah, that's why I fucking said it.
Well, and it's funny because as a kid, you don't think about that. But nowadays, you're like, yeah, maybe if more people, weren't engaged in actively hating things, it wouldn't be so bad around here.
Yeah, can we just have a kumbaya session, please? Is that too much to ask?
Just a day without a fucking shooting. That would be cool.
Yeah. Yep, definitely.
So what are you scratching?
Oh, dude. I mean, dude, I don't know. I mean, because I know this is the toughest.
Dude, you're the one who takes notes, and this is the shit you're coming to the table with.
I know. Yeah, I mean, you half-ass it, and I actually put thought into it.
And I still have a scratch.
Well, it's because maybe I put too much thought into it. So this is, man, this might trip you out a little bit. Because it kind of trips me out saying this. It might be I Sat by the Ocean.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I love the song. If there's one song I just put on and listen to sometimes, it might be I Sat by the Ocean.
But
like,
let me
I
guess
love
why
it.
you would scratch it, just because it's the most outlier.
It's more of an outlier. Like, because even My God is the Sun has this sort of dark, authoritative kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
And Dave Grohl's drumming is just fucking badass. And then it just goes right into that. So you can't, you can't scratch a track before that or after it by any means. So, I mean, dude, it's weird, man. I mean,
and you're not going to scratch Like Clockwork.
Not going to do that. So, well, everyone, please let us know what track you guys would scratch. This album, I think it's a borderline masterpiece, borderline 10. If I'm going to put it on a scale, it's close, man.
Oh, I think I just had a heart murmur. No, it's a great album.
Because here's the thing. There's a lot of, it's 10 songs. A lot of times we do, these episodes, and there's an obvious one, or there's some fat, right? You're
sure.
Man, you trim the fat there a little bit, dude. This, man.
It's basically like if Queens of the Stone Age went into the studio and they made their version of Wish You Were Here. I mean, it's
pretty much. Yeah. I mean, yes,
more or less.
It's their wish you were here.
Yeah.
Or it's there, I wish I was dead. I don't know.
Well, yeah.
It's
wish I wasn't here.
I mean, so many of these songs are sing-alongs. You can, if you're going on a road trip with your kids.
Yeah.
Spring break. I mean, spring break is past, although you did just kind of get back. When you guys drove down to Tennessee, was this kind of on repeat the whole time you guys were driving?
Well, it wasn't so much.
Or was Lucy just listening to it on her earbuds?
Yeah, but I was like, here, why don't you take my phone? And I would prefer it if you just kind of put this in between If I Had a Tail and Smooth Sailing. Just listen to those ones because there's a lot of good lines in there for you.
Real good lines, real pick-me-ups.
Yeah.
She's going to be fine. Don't send me the counseling bill. All right. So, all right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have not seen our Songs for the Deaf or Era Vulgaris episodes, definitely check those out. Give us a L and an S, and we will see you. Yeah, just abbreviating the shit out of stuff over here. Yeah. We'll see you soon. It's time to go on the TD
on
NG show.
The Dude and Grim Show. Scratch a Track is produced by the Dude and Grim. Additional music provided by Moore and the Tims. Copyright 2023. The Dude and Grim Show.